story goes like this. Asmuth, the creator of the Omnitrix, makes it to destroy humans. When Vilgax finds out about this, he attacks Asmuth's lab and kills him. Fearful of Asmuth's death, the Omnitrix activates and crashes to Earth, merging with Ben's arm. However, instead of transforming into different aliens like in the cartoon, it merges with his body, and Ben's cousin finds him. When Charmcaster sees the Omnitrix, she senses danger, transforms into creatures inside the Omnitrix, and fights Gwen. Ben then brutally attacks his grandfather and destroys him. After that, he starts killing humans on Earth and destroying humanity in the most savage way possible. He then becomes one of the creatures in the Omnitrix and destroys the Earth, then moves on to other worlds. Then, Ben 10 from other worlds unite to defeat Ben, but he kills them all. However, the Omnitrix weakens, and Ben 10,000 takes advantage of this by cutting off Ben's left hand. After this incident, the Alien X's reconstruct the universe together and return to their original state. With the help of Professor Paradox, Ben returns to the time when the Omnitrix was sent to Earth and stops himself from unleashing Carnatrix. Coraline is a true story about a kid in Norway. It begins when Coraline's dad dies, and her mom, who had mental problems, gets worse every day. Coraline goes through a tough time as her mom becomes violent and abusive. Eventually, due to their financial situation, they are forced to move to a new neighborhood. After moving, Coraline discovers a small door behind the wall and tears down the wallpaper, only to find bricks behind it. Her mom gets extremely angry and starts beating Coraline. Unfortunately, Coraline becomes unconscious. An hour later, her mom realizes what she has done and, crying, tells Coraline to open her eyes. To prove she is alive, her mom takes some buttons, sews them onto Coraline's face, and calls for help. Days later, neighbors notice a foul smell and contact the police. The police find Coraline's lifeless body, and her mom is transferred to a mental hospital due to her mental disorders. In the second part of the Coraline theory, Neil Gaiman, the author of Coraline, said he got the idea for the story from a famous rumor from his hometown. The rumor goes like this. An old woman took care of her granddaughter after the girl's parents died, but no one, not even the neighbors, had ever seen the girl. One day, some kids went into the mansion to see the mysterious girl. Inside, they found a burned baby with buttons sewn where the eyes should have been. Did you know that Shrek isn't as original as we thought? Remember how Shrek is set in a world full of fairy tales and stories? Well, it turns out that Shrek isn't the original story in that world. There's actually a book called Shrek from 1990, and it's very similar to the movie. It's about a green ogre who's not very attractive, and he goes on a journey to save a princess with the help of a donkey. The princess is also not conventionally beautiful, just like Fiona when she becomes an ogre. So, Shrek isn't entirely new. It borrowed a lot from this book named Shrek. But did you know that in real life, there was a person named Shrek? Maurice Tillett, a wrestler nicknamed the real-life Shrek, noticed his feet, hands, and head were growing bigger when he was 17. A doctor told him he had a rare condition called acromegaly, caused by too much growth hormone. People with this condition often have larger body parts and look different. In May 1940, Tillett became the Aware World Heavyweight Champion, holding the title for over 2 years. He also won the World Heavyweight Championship in Montreal in 1942. But because of his health problems from acromegaly, his health got worse. Tillett fell seriously ill and passed away a year after his last match in 1953. Some people think Maurice Tillett inspired the character Shrek, but the movie producers say otherwise. Do you know the original, more serious version of Rapunzel's story? A long time ago, in a kingdom surrounded by deep, dark forests, there was a couple who really wanted a child, but they couldn't have one. Then, the wife found a strange plant growing in the witch's garden next door. It was called Campanula rapunculus, and people said its roots had magic powers. The wife really wanted it, so she asked her husband to get it for her. He sneaked into the witch's garden at night to get the plant, but the witch caught him. She was furious and said he had to give her something in return for stealing from her. Scared, he promised her anything she wanted. The witch asked for their first child when they had one. Years later, they had a daughter named Rapunzel after the plant. But when Rapunzel turned 12, the witch came and took her away. She locked Rapunzel in a tall tower in the forest, with no way to get in or out except by climbing Rapunzel's long hair. Rapunzel couldn't leave the tower, but she met a prince who heard her singing. They fell in love, but the witch found out and punished them. She cut off Rapunzel's hair and sent her away. When the prince came back, the witch tricked him, and he ended up blind and lost. Rapunzel wandered alone until she found the prince. Her tears of joy healed his eyes, and they went back to the kingdom together. Rapunzel's parents welcomed her home, and the witch's dark magic was gone forever. So in the end, Rapunzel's story became about love and redemption, where she found her way back to happiness with the prince's help. Guess what? In the original Aladdin story, the genie didn't like Aladdin. Let me tell you why. You know, in the Disney movie, Aladdin can only make 3 wishes, and he uses the last one to set Genie free. But in the 1001 Arabian Nights version, Aladdin can make as many wishes as he wants. And that's where the trouble starts. Near the end of the story, Aladdin is tricked by an enemy into asking the genie for a special egg to hang from the ceiling of his palace. The genie isn't happy about this. He yells at Aladdin for not appreciating his already great life. He also explains that the egg Aladdin asked for comes from a huge bird called a roc, which is super powerful in Middle Eastern stories, sometimes even more powerful than genies. Because Aladdin upset him, the genie refuses to grant any more wishes and disappears, leaving Aladdin to face his enemy alone. If Disney stayed true to the OG Aladdin story, you would find he and Jasmine's relationship creepy, not cute. Found in the 1001 Nights collection, Aladdin in the Wonderful Lamp tells the story of a lazy loser named Aladdin who lucks his way into finding a magical lamp with a genie inside it. One day, the Sultan of Aladdin's country announces that his daughter is going to the bathhouse and that everyone needs to stay inside and close their shutters. While Aladdin disregards this command and takes it upon himself to spy on the princess as she bathes. After seeing her wet, naked bod, the princess was all Aladdin could think about. But one night, after learning she was engaged, he used his genie to strand her fiancé outside in the desert cold